Well, gendered language is being removed from BC laws. It will rid the pronouns he, she, him, and her from the wording of laws to better reflect gender diversity.
Well, anyone who's ever felt discrimination or seen themselves excluded will immediately understand why this is important. Words matter. And I think we owe it to everyone in BC to reframe the language that we use to ensure that gender inclusive and in both our language and also in the policies reflect all the people in this province.
Across 15 ministries, 600 instances of gendered language have been updated. Other forms of gendered language are being changed, like husband or wife to spouse and man-made to human-made. Changing gendered language is one of a few government actions that move towards gender inclusivity. And joining us tonight to talk more about phasing out the barriers in government is trans activist Morgane Oger, who goes by she, her. Morgane, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, first off, let me ask you, what do you make of BC moving to get rid of these gendered language references in the province's policies?
You know, I think it's a very good idea, and it's kind of about time. It's not just to do with trans people. The language of law shouldn't point to either men or women or anyone else. It should just talk about everybody. The law applies to all of us in the same way, and this is a really good development. It's particularly going to help non-binary persons and the persons of more marginalized genders that tend to be ignored. So I think this is really good.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit more. I mean, what is the impact going to be on marginalized gender identities?
Well, you know, when you have a text that says, you know, when there's a divorce between two people, the husband and the wife have certain, certain rights or something like this, you're really highlighting who this is about. And instead, you could just say, you know, when two people get divorced, for example, then they have some things that they have to do, or these are the rules that apply to them. And to not dictate the type of person that's involved gives us all this room to allow for the broad diversity of people in British Columbia, who they see themselves as and how they should be treated. You know, it's a very helpful thing to not be telling people who the actors are in the letter of the law that we prepare to help everybody be supported in our province. So this is really helpful.
All right, I mean, you've been a trans activist for many years. You've also delved a bit into the political realm. Of course, you ran for the BC NDP. I mean, from your experiences, what real progress have you seen?
Well, you know, having the explicit protection of gender identity or expression in our human rights law provincially and federally across Canada means that it's much less acceptable today to discriminate arbitrarily against people because of who they are or because how they present themselves based on gender than it was in the past. And that's very, very helpful. I've seen policies come in across all of civil society and the criminal code as well, keeping people safe from gender-based discrimination. It made me laugh a little bit that the first implementation of this was an all-girls school who got where the girls got their school to drop the requirement to have kilts, and in doing that, it freed them from this gendered expression requirement that they had to be in kilts, and instead it just told them to wear appropriate clothing according to uniform standards. I think in the political realm we have a long ways to go yet. No party in Canada has yet had like the wherewithal to put a transgender person in a riding where they could be elected. And that's really unfortunate. We came close with me, but there's some ways to go on that.
Morgane Oger, thanks very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.